The story begins in Los Angeles, 2012 at a glamorous launch party. A young woman named Whitney Wolfe was moving through the crowd, pitching her new startup idea to big-time founders. Her vision was an app that would connect volunteers with orphanages, but no one seemed interested. Frustrated, Whitney stepped outside, where she happened to meet a young man named Sean Rat. Sean proudly introduced himself as the CEO of one of the hottest new startups in the industry. Whitney shared her idea and talked about what she wanted to build. Sean looked at her and asked, "Is this really what you want to dedicate your entire life to?" Whitney hesitated. "I don't know." She admitted what she did know was this: she didn't want a job where she had to pretend to be interested, and she didn't want to convince herself something had value when deep down it really didn't. Impressed, Sean handed her his office address. "I know investors," he said. "I'll introduce you." The very next day, Whitney showed up at his office before Sean even arrived. Sean was about to pitch his own app called Cardify, so he invited Whitney to tag along. Cardify was a credit card loyalty reward app. Sean sat down with two steakhouse owners and explained how it worked, but they didn't seem impressed. That's when Whitney jumped in. She said, "Imagine you're taking me out to dinner. You wouldn't want to pay with some old punched loyalty card, right? But with our app, everything happens automatically. You'd get rewards and maybe even a second date." Her pitch won them over and Sean was thrilled. He told Whitney, "I know you want to make the world a better place, but that takes power and influence, and for that you need money." He offered her the position of marketing director. The next day, Whitney officially joined the company. That's where she met Tisha, who explained that they were juggling multiple startups, hoping one would eventually take off. Sean then introduced Whitney to the entire team. They were working on another app idea called Matchbox, but Sean didn't like the name for a dating app. Everyone started brainstorming. Whitney suggested Tinder, explaining like the initial spark. Sean loved it. From that day forward, Whitney threw herself completely into this new dating app. She started using different dating sites, going on dates with various guys, and asking them what they liked or disliked about the platforms. Almost everyone complained about how complicated the sign-up process was. Meanwhile, Whitney met Justin, Sean's friend and co-founder of the company. Sean asked the team for fresh ideas about Cardiff, but no one had much to contribute. When it came to Tinder, though, everyone has an idea. One employee, JB, suggested removing the yes or no buttons on profiles and replacing them with a swiping system. Swipe right if you like someone, swipe left if you don't. JB and Tisha worked together to build this update. When the team tested it, everyone loved how fun and interactive it felt. Since Tinder was still new, the team filled it with a few fake accounts so it wouldn't look empty. During this time, Whitney and Justin grew closer, playing ping pong together. Justin even invited her to his uncle's birthday dinner. That night, Whitney met his whole family. She told Justin, "We need to make Tinder's sign-up process much simpler. It's obvious why young people avoid these sites. They think online dating is uncool." Whitney was determined to break that stigma. She needed to bring young people onto a dating app. The very next day, she planned to return to Dallas to her old college campus. Justin teased, "Do you have an old college sweetheart waiting for you there?" Whitney laughed it off. No, definitely not. Her past relationships had been far from good. Her ex had been extremely toxic. The next day, Tisha and Whitney arrived at Whitney's old college campus, standing before a group of girls. Whitney said, "How many times have we gone to a party, seen a really cute guy but never approached him, because deep down we were afraid he wouldn't be interested." Almost all the girls raised their hands in agreement. Then Whitney told them, "But with Tinder, you're always starting a conversation with someone who's already interested in you." She walked them through the app's interface, explaining how it worked to get them on board. Whitney added a little push, telling the girls that other campus groups had already signed up. Excited, the girls agreed. Whitney whispered to Tisha, "Stall them for 15 minutes. Then she rushed to a group of guys, teasing, "Come on, let me introduce you to the hottest girls on campus." At first, the girls couldn't find any familiar guys on the app and started losing interest. But then suddenly the guys' profiles appeared in their feeds. The energy shifted and everyone got hooked. Whitney kept repeating this process across different college campuses, and her campus strategy quickly became a massive success. One night, she got a video call from Justin. During their conversation, the two of them finally confessed their feelings for each other. Both had secretly liked each other all along. The story then jumped 3 months ahead. By now, the team's entire focus was on Tinder. Whitney and Justin were dating and Tinder was rapidly growing. Sean brought in a potential investor who had heard about their clever college marketing strategy. Justin eagerly explained it, but Whitney muttered that was my thing. To track their growth, the team set up an analog counter to record sign UPS. Tinder had already crossed 23,000 users. Sean announced Whitney as an official co-founder alongside himself. Justin and JB shocked and overjoyed. Whitney gave a speech, though Justin didn't look happy. In the following weeks, Tinder's growth surged massively. But with the rise came challenges. The team had to constantly remove inappropriate photos posted by male users. By the end of 2013, Tinder won the award for Best New Startup. But on stage, only Sean, Justin, and JB went up to accept it. Whitney, despite being a co-founder, was left behind. It stung deeply. As time passed, Whitney kept noticing how she was being excluded from the leading circle. By 2014, the women on the team came to Whitney with complaints. The app is flooded with inappropriate photos from guys. Tisha said we delete them, but they just post them again, and our policies don't let us take any real action. One woman, Beth, spent her entire day deleting these images. They wanted Whitney to raise the issue with Sean and Justin. Whitney hesitated. Let's wait until we hit 1 million users, she said cautiously. Tisha snapped back. So you're saying we can't do the right thing until we cross some imaginary finish line? Whitney finally agreed, but when she brought it up, no one listened. Justin even dismissed it, saying most of these chicks are just reporting harassment from guys who rejected them. He believed the app was gaining 10,000 new sign UPS a day, so there was no reason to disrupt what was working. Sean chimed in, we need to think practically. The press is criticizing us, but we can just reframe the narrative. Whitney suggested we could compare it to going to a bar. If the guy you meet there turns out to be a creep, is that really the bar's fault? But Justin stole her idea right in front of everyone. Soon after, Whitney ended her relationship with Justin. I need to focus on work, she told him. Justin smirked. Well, work? You work for me, I'm a co-founder too. Whitney shot back, but Justin mocked her, saying, you slept with the boss to get ahead, then dropped him once you got there. His words left Whitney panicked, her chest tightening. She could hardly breathe. After everything she had endured in toxic relationships before, she was now facing the same abuse from Justin. Coldly told her, the problem is you, Whitney, but I care about you. I'm willing to forgive you. Shaken, Whitney walked out. But at work, Justin began sending her an endless stream of vile, threatening messages. It became impossible for Whitney to focus. She confided in Tisha, who urged her, you need to talk to Sean about this. Even Time magazine's article didn't list your name among the co-founders. Whitney went to Sean, brushed it off. No one's going to read that stupid article. He said so. Whitney told him everything about Justin, how things had spiraled after their breakup, and how intense it had become. Sean replied, look, you're both adults, get over it. He didn't want to get involved. That's when Whitney showed him the thousands of messages Justin had been sending. Sean finally said, all right, I'll talk to him finally. The day arrived when Tinder was about to hit 1 million users. Whitney raced into the office to watch the milestone. The analog counter in the lobby froze. Halfway through the countdown, JB grabbed a ball and tossed it at the machine to try to jolt it back to life. The ball struck part of the building system. A pipe cracked and water poured out. The water pressure kicked the counter back into motion. The dial swung forward and they hit 1 million users. Sean stood up and said, a year ago, every blog and tech rag said Tinder wouldn't make it. We proved them wrong. That night they celebrated. At the party, Whitney met Andre, the founder of Badoo, one of the biggest dating apps in Europe and South America. Andre had heard about Whitney's campus marketing strategy. He knew she was the brain behind Tinder's explosion. He made her an offer to be CMO at Badoo. Tinder has 1 million users. He said, I have 376 million more. Badoo wants to become a household name in America, and Andre wants Whitney to lead that effort. Whitney declined. Badoo is already big. Any success there would not be entirely mine. She said, Tinder is my everything. She turned down Andre's offer. As she was leaving the party, Justin followed her and demanded, who were you talking to? You can't bring your boyfriends to company parties. He threatened her, if you humiliate me, you will be fired. He snarled that he had heard she had cried. To Sean, having a female co-founder makes us look like a joke, he told her. After that, everything started to go downhill for Whitney. People whispered behind her back. They made crude, demeaning jokes. Men she'd worked beside all day began treating her like a punchline. Humiliated. Whitney went to Sean and said, "This is getting out of control. The people I work with are saying awful things to me. It's humiliating. I can't keep working with him." Sean's demeanor shifted instantly. He replied, "So you're telling me you are resigning?" He started telling her to email her resignation, treating her as if she were a stranger. Whitney was stunned, speechless. After that, Whitney filed a lawsuit against Tinder. The text message evidence led to Justin's suspension. Whitney received a large settlement. She said the money mattered a great deal to her, but for Tinder it was nothing. Whitney insisted she was a co-founder, that she had helped build Tinder. Her attorneys warned her there was little benefit to taking the case to trial. Tinder had the resources to drag the case out for 4 or 5 years. If the case went to a public trial, the company's image would no doubt be damaged, but at the same time, Whitney herself would be permanently labeled as the woman who sued Tinder for gender discrimination. By signing a non-disclosure agreement, she could quietly step away and move on to the next chapter of her life. But sometime later, the story leaked to the press anyway. Whitney wondered how that happened. Despite the NDA, the other side had leaked it, but she had no proof, and now bound by the agreement, she couldn't share her side of the story, no matter what the headlines said. The constant fear of being sued kept her silent, so Tisha came to meet Whitney. She told her that Sean had been forced to step down as CEO. But that didn't matter to Whitney, because that didn't help her get a job. She spent her days online endlessly reading articles about herself, pieces claiming that Whitney had never held, nor ever deserved her co-founder title. On the internet, people were calling her crazy, and it stung even more that Tisha was still working there. Tisha said, "You didn't have a problem working with them when the situation was in your favor. When you climbed up the ladder, you never reached back down for me." The two argued, and Tisha stormed out in anger. Back at home, Whitney spent entire days scrolling through negative comments written about her even when she stepped outside. She felt people's eyes on her, judging. She struggled to breathe. Panic attacks consumed her daily life. She started drinking. Sean had returned as Tinder CEO, and Whitney's reputation online had become that of a fraud. Her days were filled with nothing but alcohol, panic attacks, and a flood of cruel comments. Her mind was unraveling, but then one day a call came from Andre. Whitney told him she was busy with research for a new project. "I'm in town," Andre said. "Meet me, let's talk." Andre knew all about Whitney's story with Tinder. Smiling, he said, "I'm happy because this means I can poach you more easily." Whitney nervously went to meet him. Together they went to see a show. Afterward, Andre asked about her project. Whitney explained that she wanted to build a social networking app just for women where the only currency, the only way to interact would be through compliments and kindness. But Andre pushed for them to work on a dating app instead. Whitney resisted. She didn't want to go back into dating apps. She wanted to create something meaningful, because the internet was no longer a safe space for women. The rules of online behavior had all been written by men. Andre argued, "Maybe we can fix that problem through dating." Whitney shook her head. "No. Online dating is full of creeps who can spam and harass women day and night without any accountability." But while saying it out loud, Whitney realized something. This was exactly what needed to change. She could create a dating app that gave women a better, safer experience. "I don't want to be hired," she told Andre. "I want to be the CEO and founder." Andre agreed. Meanwhile, the atmosphere at Tinder had become worse. Tisha was fed up when Whitney came to meet her. Whitney apologized to Tisha for their last meeting. She admitted, "You were right. I bought into the idea that there was only space for one woman in that room, and I made sure it was me." In her time at Tinder, Whitney realized she had in a way enabled men's toxicity too, but now she wanted to make things right. Tisha appreciated her honesty, and the two hugged. Whitney had come to hire her for her new dating app. Tisha agreed instantly, and together they pulled Beth away from Tinder as well. The three of them moved to Austin. Tisha suggested naming the app Bumble, but Whitney wasn't satisfied. They finalized a strict zero-tolerance policy. Anyone who harassed even once would be banned from the app forever. Beth added another rule: no shirtless selfies. She explained, "When people think of Tinder, they think of one-night stands. We can't let our app feel like that." We want people seeking meaningful relationships to come here. They also decided their company would hire 90% women. On a video call, Andre introduced them to Charlotte, who would be handling PR. Andre asked, "Should I start setting up meetings with engineers so we can get moving?" Whitney shook her head. "Not yet. There's still so much work to do. We need a feature that makes us stand out, something that makes us the best." Andre pressed move faster. "My board is itching to start monetizing." Later that night, the women gathered in a bar and finalized the app's name, Bumble. While they were out, Beth noticed a guy looking at Whitney. She wasn't interested in getting distracted by men, so she turned her head away. But when she looked again, the guy turned out to be very attractive. "What if he Googles me?" Whitney worried. "All he'll find are bad articles about me." Her friends encouraged her to give him a signal. Beth warned, "Don't go over there. You look desperate. Everyone says the guy should come to you." Hearing that sparked an idea in Whitney. She scribbled it down on a napkin and walked right up to the guy, handing him an article about herself. "Read this first," she told him. The guy, Michael, heard. "Read it carefully," then laughed. "I don't think I can buy you a drink. You're way too rich. You should buy me one instead." The next day, Whitney's idea became clear. Bumble's defining principle would be that women make the first move. After a match, only women could send the first message. Whitney built the app from the ground up, ensuring every system was designed to make the internet the safest possible place for women. By 2016, Bumble had 8 million users. Tinder sued for trademark infringement, but Bumble kept growing. By 2017, they had 12 million users. Whitney even stood in court, speaking publicly about accountability for bad behavior. By 2019, with 35 million users, Bumble was about to roll out a new feature, Bumble for Friends. Whitney prepared for her presentation with Michael by her side. Just then, a Forbes journalist named Marta came to meet her. They had met once before at a Tinder party, but Whitney couldn't talk about that because of the NDA, and Marta wasn't here for that anyway. She had an article ready to go live at 5 p.m., exposing how Andre had been involved in many questionable dealings, the very things Bumble claimed to stand against. Marta asked Whitney for a comment. "This doesn't make sense," Whitney said. "I know Andre well. He's always supported us and supported women. I've never seen him involved in anything like this. So that's your comment?" Marta asked. Whitney was torn. Her big rollout was only hours away, but now she faced an impossible choice. She could side with Andre, which meant standing with the same harmful behaviors she was trying to fight against, or she could side with Bumble and women everywhere. But that would mean risking everything, because Bumble servers ran on Andre's company Badoo. The Badoo went down, so would Bumble. Now Tisha said, "We should stay out of this. Just keep quiet and focus on our rollout." But Charlotte argued that Whitney should stand with Andre in order to protect both him and Bumble. Soon after Andre came to meet Whitney, he told her the journalist had exaggerated everything. Andre admitted that his team had organized the wrong kind of parties, where girls were brought in with money. Whitney asked, "And how do you think women employees of your own company must have felt seeing that?" Andre defended himself, saying, "Whitney, you know this behavior isn't that unusual." Whitney shot back, "Bumble was created as a rebuke to this toxic nonsense, and you're destroying it all." Badoo's previous CMO, Jessica, had once been asked to give a massage to a male applicant. Whitney looked at Andre and asked, "Did you want to hire me for this role?" Expecting the same thing, Andre quickly replied, "No, absolutely not. We've worked together a long time. I have nothing but respect and dignity for you. You know I'm not a bad guy. This is a lesson for me too. I'll make changes at Badoo, but first we need to get through this." After that, Whitney went to her rollout event. She presented her new app feature, Bumble BFF, but at the end, she chose to do the right thing. She sided with women. She said, "I am sickened to hear what has transpired at Badoo. I want to acknowledge that me not personally seeing the bad behavior in no way negates or excuses it. No one deserves to be marginalized or mistreated in the workplace." Hearing this, Andre left. Whitney had made her stand clear. She would never support toxic behavior. Backstage, Tisha came to see her. By now, Badoo's stock had dropped by 15%, but Tisha stood firmly with Whitney. So did Michael, who drove her home that night. A few days later, Whitney feared everything was over. That's when Matthew Slate from Blackstone Investment Group came to meet her. Blackstone had bought out Andre, and they were planning major changes at both Badoo and Bumble. They wanted to talk about Whitney's position. Whitney said firmly, "I won't step down without a fight." Matthew smiled, "No, not at all. We want you to become the CEO of everything. There is no one more qualified." And with that, friends, this story comes to an end. Tell us in the comments how you like this explanation. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.